continued fallout from the Indiana Fever loss to the Dallas Wings at home in the home opener to a team that won 10 games last year. The fallout is getting, the fandom getting loud. By fandom, I mean Caitlin Clark fandom. You had a lot of things coming out of that. You had the great mystery of back injury. Is it a back injury compensating for something else? Was it a hit?
Stephanie White just stood at the podium and effectively conceded a coaching disaster following a brutal 107-104 overtime collapse against the Dallas Wings. Despite weeks of preaching load management and protecting Caitlin Clark, White watched her stars at a wall, running her elite backcourt into ground while the bench provided zero support. By admitting the roster lacked depth, White didn't just explain a loss. She ignited a firestorm, confirming the exact organizational dysfunction and strategic negligence we've been warning you about. This wasn't just a tough loss. It was a total breakdown of logic. Today, we're exposing the glaring contradictions in her press conference, the benching decisions that prove she's lost plot, and the statistical evidence that makes this box score look like a fireable offense. The fallout is immediate. The fans are unified, and the pressure on this franchise has officially reached a breaking point.
Yesterday is the second team, the second unit. The bench is not good. It's not. I said yesterday, I watched the Liberty play the other day. The game had gotten so far away, they had their second unit. Their second unit would beat the living shit out of our second unit. They'll run us out of the building. If we're not careful, they will run us out of the building. We have a lack of length, too many guards.
The starting lineup delivered a masterclass, with Mitchell, Clark, and Boston combining for a staggering 73 points. But Stephanie White's rotations turned a powerhouse performance into a tactical disaster. Despite the starters logging grueling, playoff-level minutes, the bench was a total vacuum production. Lexi Hull, Tasha Harris, and others combined for nearly nothing while the stars physically disintegrated. The ultimate indictment of White's leadership wasn't just exhaustion. It was a DMP coach's decision for Shatorai Walker-Kimbrough. After a phenomenal 18-point preseason showing, the team's most dynamic bench weapon sat in street clothes while the offense bled out in overtime. For White to then stand at the podium and claim she lacked help is a calculated deflection of responsibility. This isn't just a coaching error. It's a window into the corporate politics and internal dysfunction of a franchise that intentionally benched its best solution while its franchise cornerstones were run into the ground.
Oh, make sure we deny. What do you think they're going to run here? No?
This is a look of a coach that has zero idea what she's doing. This is the look of a coach that has zero idea what she's literally in the heat of the moment when adversity is adversitying the most, if that's even a word.
This is a massive tactical indictment. Stephanie White is playing a dangerous game of professional deflection, and the fans have caught her red-handed. When a head coach publicly laments a bad rotation, while leaving a healthy, 18-point preseason weapon like Shatorai Walker-Kimbrough in street clothes, she is doing one of two things: admitting total incompetence or launching a political strike against her own front office. By crying for help at the podium, White is subtly throwing GM Lynn Dunn and the Fever leadership under the bus, blaming roster construction for her own refusal to utilize the talent she already has. It is a staggering contradiction to run Clark and Mitchell into ground and then claim a lack of options when the highest-scoring bench player in the preseason was eligible and available. The social media backlash hasn't just been loud. It's been mathematically backed and absolutely savage. Fans see right through the strategic mistake narrative, recognizing it as a calculated move to save her own reputation at the expense of organizational unity.
I mean, 1.5, 1.6 thousand likes to nearly 400 comments. That is not the ratio that you are trying to see. Fire White, no size playing CC off ball. She does what she does, not work. Then talks trash about Caitlin Clark fans. Look in the audience. What do you see? Okay.
While there are always theoretical basketball justifications for specific rotations, matchup advantages, long-term player preservation, or waiting for a specific defensive look, every single one of those excuses is incinerated by the cold reality of the box score. Stephanie White can defend unorthodox bench decisions when she wins, but you cannot justify a 3-point overtime loss to a 10-win team while your franchise cornerstone is receiving back adjustments in the tunnel from sheer exhaustion. The mastermind facade completely crumbled when national television microphones caught White in a state of total panic during the final tie at 100, frantically asking her assistants what the Dallas Wings would run. This wasn't tactical oversight. It was a total collapse of leadership in the game's most critical moment. When you combine that huddle disaster with a decision to bench your most lethal scoring threat and the subsequent admission that your stars were run into the ground, you aren't looking at a strategic mistake. You are looking at coaching malpractice. White failed to win the game and, more importantly, failed to protect the physical well-being of the league's most valuable asset, exposing a level of organizational dysfunction that is officially sounding the alarm across the entire WNBA.
Defensive-minded players made sure that the defense became 100 times worse than last season. Honestly, it's pretty clear to say fire Stephanie White. How the hell does AB only got 4 rebounds? Why is Raven Johnson not playing more minutes? MHA and DD are effing trash. Cut or trade them. They do nothing. Give Caitlin the effing ball. Why does no one on the Fever set screens for Caitlin when she is literally hacked all night and nobody cares?
The physical toll on Caitlin Clark is no longer a warning sign. It is a full-blown emergency. While a veteran scoring threat sat healthy on the bench, Clark was forced into such extreme physical duress that she required multiple mid-game locker room trips for manual back adjustments. For Stephanie White to dismiss this as an ongoing thing is a chilling admission of negligence. This isn't just one botch game. It is the inevitable byproduct of an organization defined by profound, systemic dysfunction. For a month, the Fever have moved from one self-inflicted PR disaster to the next, from arrogant draft night comments and mocking fans to tone-deaf social media hype and glazing coaching appointments while the team collapses on national television. A championship-caliber franchise operates with a unified, accountable message, yet the Fever are a house divided. You have a coach blaming rotations, a front office insulting the intelligence of the fan base, and a social media team hallucinating success, while the team is being outworked on the glass. The result is a historic 73-point explosion from the Big Three wasted because of coaching malpractice and an institutional refusal to prioritize winning over corporate politics. The message in the fan base is now unified, loud, and undeniable. The talent is there, but the leadership is fundamentally broken.
Wow. It is. Wow. It's becoming ugly. By the way, you got some Fever fans out here turning on Caitlin Clark too. That's happening a little bit. There is infighting amongst infighting.
The fans are watching, and the days of pretending it will all magically work out are over. They see the rotation disasters, the AI-generated diversions, and the glazing of a coaching staff that was caught in a huddle of frantic panic on national television. The Fever faithful are done with the contradictions and are demanding the one thing this organization seems allergic to: accountability. You cannot defend a catastrophic strategic failure, while an 18-point scoring solution, like Shot Walker Kimbrough, sits healthy in street clothes. With a matchup against the Los Angeles Sparks looming this Wednesday, followed by a homecoming against the Mystics, Stephanie White is officially on the clock. She has exactly 48 hours to fix a broken rotation, properly deploy her scoring weapons, and learn to anticipate an opponent without begging her assistance for help. The secondary market is already reflecting the fallout, and the fan base is finished with the excuses. This is WNBA Pro, the only place for the unfiltered truth that refuses to let coaching incompetence slide. Smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell now, because this franchise is one more humiliating loss away from a total meltdown. Drop your boldest take below. Was White's admission genuine accountability, or a desperate attempt to blame the front office? I want to hear it all. See you on the next one.